Hi, my beautiful souls. Welcome back to Twin Flames Defined. Today I wanted to answer a question from, it looks like from Joseph, asking what a twin flame is. And I started out my channel with defining all of that, but you'd have to go back years worth of videos to get to that stuff. So I'm glad that you brought it up so that I could refresh the statement of what it is and kind of hone that in for a lot of the newbies. And some information maybe for some people that even have been on their journey for a while. So essentially what a twin flame is it's one soul. So there's a lot of fallacies and a lot of misguided, incorrect information out there about the twin flames because we're so unique and because we're there's not everybody is a twin flame, and because the karmics of twin flames like to make twin flames look really, really villainous and make us look really bad. So a lot of people don't have real information because twin flames usually clam up and just do healing and go into hermit modes and heal, and they're not into recognition. They're not into like all the stuff like that the ego is about, right? So essentially a twin flame is one soul, okay? One soul that is split into two human forms. And the main reason why your soul would choose to do that is because it wants to have this divine main life purpose. And remember, we all have many life purposes and many destinies. You can have like a plethora of them. Usually when a soul is coming to earth for the first few hundred times, they don't usually do tons of destinies or really big ones. They maybe do like a few easier, smaller ones, but a twin flame is a very, very seasoned soul that actually, to become a twin flame, it's almost like you have to have a large earthly resume. You have to have come down a lot of times. You have to have had so many lifetimes that were like at the end of your lifetime, they kind of balance out the energy, kind of like if you want to like think of it like on a scale, right? They take all the energy of everything that you've done on the earth and every person that you've affected, everything you've affected, the energy that you expelled, all of that energy that you have created, and it has to outweigh more in the side of love than in the other direction, in many, many, many lifetimes to even be considered to be a twin flame for a twin flame lifetime, to even get the chance to like go down and do a twin flame lifetime. So essentially when that occurs, when you are granted by like your soul picking it as a life mission, right, and purpose, then your overarching like main life purpose and mission and purpose is to raise the vibration of the planet to a higher state of frequency. The twin flames were designed specifically to go after what humanity's main desire is, right? And the main desire for humanity is the romantic love, okay? And so we have used that. We use that as our, because it's such a large desire, not just by one soul, but collectively by every human that comes. They want that romantic love. They want that person, right? So we use that as our niche for you to remember, because when you get down to on earth, right, you come in harsh conditions. The soul will put you specifically because you are the light worker, you are the healer that can handle doing like things in this direction of love more prominently than most souls, okay? And so they put you down in really, really harsh conditions where usually you're in families full of abuse, full of dysfunction, just a lot of it's like getting dirty, right? Getting down and getting dirty in the earth. So you are put there and you rise like a phoenix, but you also, one of the things that happens in your lifetime is you are magnetized to the other counterpart of your soul. And this happens purposely, right? And usually the soul and the divine, so like if you want to call it God, Buddha, source, universe, whatever you want to call that energy, kind of map it out and say like, okay, for this, like all these details of this life circumstance that we're going to plop you into for your life, your particular details of your life, let's make let's make the magnet occur, like the magnetization occur around this time frame, right, in your life. So usually we see most twin flames, and not all, like you can come into connection with your twin flame anytime during your lifetime, but we usually see it around like the 30s, the later 20s or the 30s, because that's usually when you have gotten dirty enough, right? But you have figured yourself out enough, right? And so you have enough a foundation to be able to spring forward. And so what ends up happening is there's two pieces to the human or the soul that comes down, and one is a feminine dominant and one is a masculine dominant. And that doesn't mean male or female, but traditionally twin flames, we have seen in the past that was how they were coming. The females were feminine dominants and the males were masculine dominance, but that is not the case these days. We have a lot of same-sex couples. We have some flops. It's not as popular to have flops. A lot of people get their identity wrong with their energy because of the dysfunction of the world. So if you have, like, let's say a male, right? He is supposed to be, per his soul, a masculine dominant, but primarily if the other extension of the soul is ending up being in our wounded masculine world, even if it's a female, being wounded masculine energy, it pushes on the other twin to kind of, if they want to be healthy, it kind of pushes them into that role to be into the feminine more so than they really desire to be. And I've seen that because I do twin flame coaching, and I've seen that over and over again. And I've heard so many people online talk about it, and when I tap into the energy and the truth of it, I can sense that they have role reversal happening because of the dysfunction in their environment and in the unhealth of what hasn't been cleared for them. So essentially, you will be awakened. So the masculine awakens the feminine, right? And then vice versa. After that occurs, right, the masculine gets awakened by the feminine as well. And so it's a spiritual life path and a life mission, because a lot of what happens in the twin flame journey is not about this 3D world. It's about the growth. It's about the emotion. It's about the spirituality and the change and the advancement of the soul's energy and the soul's growth. So there's a lot of healing. There's a healing life purpose, right? If I had to give advice, like being a twin flame coach and mentor, the biggest thing that I advise newbies is to just get to work on healing yourself. Get to work on healing your trauma, because what's going to happen is your twin, then you're going to go into, there's usually, for most people, there's the awakening, the bliss phase, and sometimes the bliss phase is really, really short. So if you haven't had a bliss phase and you're like, I didn't get that, well, you might have had it, but it might have been like momentarily. Some people have it for months. Some people have it for like a year, and they actually get to be with their twin during the bliss phase, and then they go into a deep separation. It just depends on really how your soul wants to unravel everything, and with the details of your own personal life path and mission. And then on top of that, your twin will be your mirror. So your twin will mirror you. So like when you have wounds from them, or there's pain, or you can see something in them that you are like, that's wrong. They're doing it wrong. You have to mirror that back to yourself and really look deep and say like, well, what is my soul trying to say to me about like that? Why do I see that in them? Because it's actually something that I need to look inside myself and see it to heal. So you'll be going on the path, you'll be doing healing. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's like super important for this, because I could go on and on. But yeah, I think that's pretty much in a nutshell. I have so much more videos. If you want to scroll through my feed, you can see some more stuff. But I wish you luck, and don't forget to love yourself. That's the most important thing on this journey. Love yourself, and you'll get through it. And just lean on this community, in the Twin Flame community. Okay, don't forget, love yourself. Bye.